Willard and Dibs. I got nothing there. Willard and Dibs in the building. After our Flex Moment, another show brought to you by Xfinity. You are listening to 95.7 The Game, kgmz-fm in HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. Don't forget about our Warriors coverage and Niners coverage. Willard and Dibs, what's happening?
What's up, boys?
Just loving a Monday.
How we doing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Loving a Monday. Great Monday.
Loving a Monday. Yeah. Evan Longoria, borderline Hall of Famer. That hit me a little bit. I'm not saying he's wrong, but just the idea of, where we are with the Hall of Fame. And, do we want a bigger hall? Do we want a smaller hall? He's had a nice career.
No hall.
But, yeah, I mean, Logan Hall, which is one of my former traffic names, Logan Hall.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
One of my former traffic
on the
names.
station that currently houses the A's, which is it's a business station. It's Bloomberg 960. I was Logan Hall, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I was doing a Sunday morning shift, and every 12 minutes you had to feed a report. You had to do a 90-second sports, news, and traffic. In between, I'm watching Game of Thrones.
Oh, did you like it last night?
I haven't seen the
okay. I thought maybe
Dragons
you'd
yet.
be all
No.
in.
I'm not like a super diehard. I'll catch it when I can catch it. When it's able to be pirated or free.
Oh, nice.
But I'm not at that level. But Game of Thrones, I was going deep on the Sunday shift.
I was going Ryan Leong with your traffic, weather,
no
sports
doubt, dude.
updates.
No
On
doubt.
the candlestick right now, it's 2-1 Giants.
You've been Leong.
Love him. Oh yeah, still doing it.
He's still doing it with the starter jackets.
Exactly.
The Expo starter jacket from the 90s. We're going so inside.
All right, we are going so inside. Willard, your thoughts on the Giants?
Brock Mania.
Thoughts on the Giants? Yeah.
Brock Purdy, Nate Sudfeld. Dibs, can you fill me on that? The Brock Purdy mania, the hype around Brock
Who is
Purdy.
losing their minds about Brock
I mean, the
Purdy?
broadcast is telling me he's so
Really?
decisive.
Until you guys are doing an Instagram live, walking
Thank
across
you,
the
Dibs.
parking lot, that's when I get invested.
Thank
When you
you.
two go all in, like, I cannot wait to see Brock, then I'm all in.
Bonze, look, you're near and dear with the NBA, and you've watched what's happened over the last 7 years with that league in terms of protecting stars and how they handle whatever, preseason games, sometimes in the middle of season games. How many more years until no one we care about is playing in an NFL preseason game? A decade from now, and by the way, take this to later on this week. Don't play Trey. What are we doing?
Well,
what is this?
especially-
what is this? Take a
No,
note.
forget that. What about the schedule?
Tom-
Why are we going to Minnesota? Why was it the Raiders?
Right.
Somebody was in Miami. They're a West Coast.
Raiders.
Yeah, it was the Raiders.
It's like what? The schedule's crazy. They play the Texans Thursday. This Thursday, in Saturday was the game, and then they fly back home, and then they play in 4 days.
Also, and everybody complains about the turf in Houston at Reliance Stadium. For a long time, remember, Wes Welker tore his ACL the last day, or Edelman, I think it was.
Yeah.
Julian Edelman, and everybody's complained about that turf for so long. So now we have to play all these guys on a quick turnaround on a Thursday.
Look, I love this roster. We talked about it last week. I know you guys, I heard you guys kind of furthering the conversation
It was
today.
really good.
I think that the 49ers can really, really have a special season, and there's one thing that can mess it all up, and it's this last preseason game. Take a note at what's happening with the good teams around the league. The Rams have punted on the draft and preseason.
For years.
Tom
For years.
Brady just punted on the entire camp.
Yeah.
He left, and we don't even know why. He's back today.
There's
Why?
more to that, right?
Yeah, I'm sure there is, and it's not the Masked Singer, but whatever. Like
That was debunked over the weekend.
Yeah,
It was his kid's birthday.
Look around the league, and then also go
I gotta
Zach
get that in my
Wilson,
clause.
go Thibodeau. I know
was
he's
that
just a
block
rookie.
like last night?
By the
Oh, my
way,
God.
like people I really respect, you can find as many who call that dirty, and as many who are like, no, that's just a regular block. Like it just where he kind of got hit. Damian Woody just said that moments ago, but it's the whole thing. So I guess the point I'm trying to make off of your question, I'm not putting anything into what I see because I don't even really know what this is. I know college football has played forever without preseason games.
And week one's awesome.
So you can do your evaluation on your own time without our dollars.
Right.
I just
Look at the Ravens and Cardinals last night. Nobody played that game.
That's another win. It's another
yeah,
cover.
the
for the
Ravens.
Ravens.
Is that one of the quirkiest streaks of all time, like one of the most quirkiest.
Well, it's actually not
streaks.
that quirky. And I talked to my guy PJ Glasser yesterday on Sunday's Bets. Guru out, PJ Glasser in.
Oh, nice.
And it's the way John Harbaugh approaches it, and it's the fact that they're the best drafting team in the NFL. They draft really well.
Yeah.
They're super deep, so their 2s and 3s are better than your 2s and 3s. And so preseason should be free. If you have a season ticket package, you get it for free.
Yeah.
And if you're a kid under 12, you get in for free.
I'm with you.
It should be free because it's the 2s and the 3s.
Right.
And the way the Niners did it, smart. You didn't have anybody that we care about on the field other than Drake Jackson and Javon Kinlaw.
Rookies.
And those two guys who maybe need some reps.
Yes.
Fine. And the rest of it, it's our 2s and 3s against your 2s, 3s, and 4s.
Right.
That's what it should be. Let's be transparent. Stop charging. We'll still all watch it, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Saguna Luby and the whole deal.
Honey, can't go to Farmhouse yet. TDP's still in the game.
Exactly.
TDP. Hey, speaking of TDP, I mean, what are they going to do
I have
about
TDP?
I
The
hope
running
not.
back thing is a little worrying.
What are you going to do? It's not.
worried.
No, I'm the opposite.
Why?
Like
What
it's
do you mean?
because it's
Too many
it's
bodies?
AM PM. It's too much good stuff. Like I mean, how?
that's a
Yeah.
four.
Like what?
Damn.
Wow.
First of all,
Damn.
I didn't know you had that in your back pocket.
Thank you. Thank you.
Blown away.
It's a major
You know
bag
what
of
I mean?
wood right there. It's got some in the bag, yeah.
Fritos and a vitamin water. It'll get you through.
Been hanging with Guru?
Major-
What?
Man, I'm excited to be back today.
Major portions of I-5 can be handled with Fritos and a vitamin water. But anyway, I just threw this out to Dibs and Kyle. We were sitting out here waiting to come on in. How many? Look, the name is Shanahan. We know what that means for running backs in this league.
Mm-hmm.
How many 49ers on the running back roster right now could gain 1,000 yards with this team if they were given the starting
And
role?
healthy. Yeah,
How many?
3 or 4, maybe?
More, I'm going
Not
over.
5, not
I'm
6.
going over.
I'm
going over.
But what's crazy is he hasn't had one guy while he's been the Niner.
Because they don't stay healthy.
Exactly. Well, not one guy's gone over 1,000 yards. The closest was Elijah with the 900, whatever. It's just, I'm looking at the running back because it's so important to what they want to do. And I think that there are some tough, like Sermon to me is the odd man out. Like it's obvious. Maybe I'm wrong and I'm not seeing it through the Jim Brown
Let me
eyes.
ask you this: would you rather have the Niners situation now with all these running backs where we could plug and play and this guy's going to run for over 100 yards, or would you rather have that one bell cow with a very good backup?
No, I think that if you look around the league, the fantasy football player in all of us wants the bell cow. The football fan in us does not. Look at what that does to you. Go ahead, pay your running back. And then when Christian McCaffrey gets hurt for 30 years in a row, your year is over. Or you pay Ezekiel Elliott, and real quick, it's no good anymore.
Tony Pollard.
The Steelers for years have had a bell cow, but look what they
drain
did.
them.
Right?
Yep.
When it's time to pay them,
Right.
let's go find a new bell cow.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I just, it goes back to the Kareem Hunt thing, right? And I ask you this: has John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan built up enough equity to take a chance on a character like that, right? Bob Myers and the Warriors took chances on Nick Young, JaVale McGee,
Yeah, but
and
that's
Boogie
not.
Cousins.
I mean, that's not that character.
It's not that character, but it is.
All
Like
Nick
JaVale
Young
McGee
did
was out of the
snitch
league,
on a teammate,
right? JaVale McGee was out of the league,
but not a felon, and
not a
not
felon.
an abuser,
Not a felon.
And that's where. And I think the Niners have gone so far away from Aldon Smith, Ray McDonald,
Reuben Foster.
Bruce Miller. Let's not forget
Yeah.
Bruce Miller, who
That was an
cuffed
insane
around a
story.
72-year-old
Oh,
in
He
North
ended up
Carolina.
getting the job again with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I think this organization has gone so far away from those guys. You don't need to entertain that kind of player. And also what Mark's talking about, it's a committee. They could find Johnny running back the third and say, here you go, here's 200 carries, we'll get you 800 yards.
Game show music, please.
Oh.
When is the last time a bell cow running back won a Super Bowl?
Marshawn Lynch.
He came close last year, Joe Mixon.
I'm going to say Marshawn Lynch. 2013, excuse me.
Sonny Gray or Sonny Michel, New England.
Sonny Gray.
Sonny Michel, New England.
Pay that man his money. That's Joe Shasky. It was 2014, actually, the actual Super Bowl, but 2013 season. Marshawn Lynch, Seattle over Denver 43-8. Ever since then, Patriots, who never have a bell cow. Denver Broncos, nope. Patriots again. Eagles, committee. Patriots again. Chiefs, committee. Bucks, committee. Rams last year, committee. I don't need a bell cow back. My fantasy team does. I don't need him on my team at all. I'd much rather have this where A, you're not putting all your cap dollars into one guy.
There's the
and B, when he gets hurt, I got another one. I got Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, but when Mostert got hurt for this team, it did derail that season.
It derailed the entire season.
Like, because there's a home run element. And he's not a complete back by any means. Look, he's a niche back.
I'm going to disagree with not Shasky, because Marshawn Lynch was a bell cow, but Sonny Michel in 2018 got over 200 carries with the New England Patriots. They won a Super Bowl, and he was the difference in that Super Bowl.
They also had James White.
But not a bell cow.
He ran that
over
200 yards.
No, have a good
931 yards.
Have a good running game, but not a bell cow.
But
I mean, New England
as a quote bell cow, a guy who gets 15 carries a game, because that's only
to me in today's
20
NFL,
carries a game.
To me in
no
today's
team has that anymore.
Right.
No,
20 touches a game.
Of
15 to 20 touches a game.
Yeah, but those guys, to your point, they get hurt. So there aren't that many teams that really rely on those guys. Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon Barkley,
right?
And
Dalvin Cook,
right?
Christian McCaffrey,
Aaron Jones.
All hurt.
He's always had a counterpart.
The first four guys you mentioned, they all got hurt.
I guess
but that's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying.
No, don't pay a guy.
But teams don't really do that anymore.
No, but they do. They do. They may get hurt, but they're not winning. Like there's a ton of teams who do that.
Last year, by definition of usage?
How many carries did he end up with?
Well, if you look in the playoffs when they had nobody left, yes, he became the bell cow. He had 29 carries against Dallas for 98 yards.
This feels like when you say you have an ace, and not every team has an ace. In the way I view the ace, like just because you're the number one for Team X for the Giants or whatever, doesn't mean you're an ace.
Yeah.
So if you're the lead dog in a backfield, you're not necessarily the bell.
That's a great comp, because now if you talk about aces, not many teams will have a guy throw more than 7 innings anyway.
Exactly.
So it's kind of the same conversation, because a running back, if he's your bell cow, you remember Le'Veon Bell, and he carried it 400 times for Pittsburgh,
and a zillion catches.
Exactly, but you don't do that anymore, and it's the same thing with starting pitching. Even if you are an ace, like Verlander in the playoffs, he's not going to throw 120 pitches in a game.
How many we got?
207 carries.
How many?
961.
207.
963 yards in just 11 games.
6.
Just 11 games.
Yeah, he missed 6 games.
4.7 yards a pop.
How many teams are going to do that this year? How many teams?
Well, even like Green Bay, who we referenced, they got the other kid backing him up from Boston
A.J.
College.
Dillon.
Yes,
A.J.
exactly.
Dillon.
And then you look at like Dalvin Cook.
Fresh off a fantasy draft over here.
Yeah, he's got he knows
2 of them actually.
This guy knows everybody.
Teams right now. The Rams, I have no idea what their breakdown's going to be.
Neither do they.
There's no clue.
But they love Cam Akers.
No, I know
they do.
But both
they got Henderson.
I've
Henderson
seen
will
7
get
different
plenty.
guys tote the rock for them in the last couple years.
McCaffrey, they hope.
Yeah.
Barkley, they hope.
I mean, Derrick Henry's
Jonathan
the only
Taylor.
one.
Right? Jonathan Taylor?
Yes.
Najee Harris?
Yes.
Najee Harris,
Even Taylor, they'll give Mac touches. They'll give the other guys.
Everybody's got a backup.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, but that you can still be a bell cow.
That's right.
You can be a 3-down back. But even Najee Harris, he's 1 year in, and their coaching staff already came out and said, we got less than that workload.
Yeah, well,
that's too much.
He got a big
It was too much last year.
But also, you need a quarterback, because he's going to, saying, we're going to kill this guy because we have no quarterback who pumps any fear into opposing defenses. So he's going to see 8-9 in the box all day long with Najee Harris. But that's just a running back. Like, do you trust Elijah Mitchell to carry the ball 20 times a week?
No, of course not.
Yeah. And then the drop-off of running backs.
But what do you mean? What do you mean by trust? Do you mean to stay healthy or to
stay healthy
succeed?
And the drop-off between these running backs?
Yeah.
Like, these running backs, Jermichael Hasty, is he going to fear? Like, does he pump fear to defenses? Or will he... I guess you could make the argument that he's going to have success because of the pieces around him. But the running back room, I'm a little hesitant.
20 carries a week, that's 340 carries for a season. No, I don't trust him to do that.
Well, he won't.
No, exactly.
He won't stay
that's
healthy.
why I don't trust him.
No, but he would succeed with that. I guess my point was
short yardage situations.
I mean, Elijah Mitchell came out of nowhere. It's not like this guy had a long track record in college and a long, the running backs.
Shanahan way. I mean, Olandis Gary, Terrell Davis, we didn't know who that
was.
was.
All 1-year wonders.
Davis wasn't. He's a Hall of Famer.
No, I
Never
know.
wonder.
It's
4 years.
4 years.
years.
And Roger Craig
Clinton
can't get into the
Portis-
Hall of Fame.
Right.
I know.
It's a joke.
Right.
Clinton Portis is like the one guy that they had that had the longevity, and he was a top pick. I mean, he was a stud.
And what they do as soon
They
as he got
traded him
good,
for Champ Bailey, one of the
traded his
greatest
butt.
trades in NFL history.
Yep.
For both teams, because really they squeezed the lemon on him in Washington.
It's one of the things that I love and trust about this coaching staff with the 49ers. You're never, ever, ever going to have to worry about them, especially after Jet McKinnon. You're never going to have to worry about them paying a running back.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't.
Well, I agree
shouldn't.
with that. Are you
shouldn't.
worried about the offensive line?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am
Yeah.
too. I am too.
That's the number
I am
one
too.
concern.
Even if
And
it's good,
McGlinchey?
that's 1 or 2 injuries away from being a problem.
Colton McKivitz starting at right tackle
Who?
right now.
That's what most
Mike
people are saying.
McGlinchey with the knee. Not looking good for him.
No.
Javon Killo looks good.
Well, and luckily you have a mobile quarterback because he's going to need to be mobile. He's going to need to be on the move. And,
That scares me.
You know, this is where Kyle Shanahan, as the offensive mastermind, if you
Yes.
have an offensive line that's not great, figure it out. Figure out how to run to Trent's side because you have the best left tackle in football. Some are saying, one of the best left tackles in the history of the game. Okay, then it shouldn't be an issue that the rest of your offensive line is not great. Run to his side. Scheme your offense to where you get protection for your quarterback on that side of the offensive line.
What do you guys have cooking today?
Well, Matty Barrow's going to stop by. We're going to jump into this right away, especially that running back room for the 49ers. I wonder what you guys think about this. Okay, it's year 2 for Trey Sermon. Let's just use him as an example. What label do you want to put on this right now?
I just think that
We're labeling a guy in his second year.
No, the situation.
I
This
think
is
they missed
unlike
on
you.
him.
The pick.
But that's okay because
It's
he's
disappointing.
To me,
I'm not going to say bust.
when you
Disappointing.
find other guys, so this is the way I view this, right? When you found Elijah in the 6th, it offset. It's not the greatest. I'm
Right.
not saying it's but it's not a bust.
I dig this.
He's
I dig
not a
this.
bust.
I dig this because here's kind of what I'm thinking, and then sometimes I think this is an area where we spend a lot of time. There are a lot of people, especially on social media, that are just sitting there waiting for every miss that a team has.
Yes.
And every team has misses every single year. Period. So if Trey Sermon can't play,
Yeah.
I still look at this roster. Look at what the 49ers have built. Have you stopped to look at this roster?
It's got 6 or 7 guys who are the best, arguably, at their position.
They are so good. And I'm with you. Absolutely. I'm looking around the NFC right now. Who scares you?
Yeah, nobody.
No one.
Nobody.
No one. They absolutely can win this thing. I mean,
Yeah.
they got to have their journey. Are they healthy?
Right.
What? Right. We'll figure it out. But this front office for the 49ers has done a great job. And if Trey Sermon was a total miss, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world.
It's okay.
Not.
Even Javon,
they're all going to have those every draft.
Well, I've talked about this, especially in football. 30% hit rate on all the moves you make, you're elite. I'm talking about elite.
It's like a baseball batting average.
Exactly.
Right.
People think that you've got to bat 700. You don't. It's 30% hit rate. You look at all their Joe Williams, year 1. They drafted him in the 4th round. The guy
Awful.
didn't even take a snap.
Ever.
Ruben Foster off the team.
It's a
Solomon
miss.
Thomas off the team. Well, you hit on George Kittle. And most fans don't even think about those other guys. And they're like, look at George Kittle. One of the best players they
CJ
drafted.
Beathard, Trent Taylor.
Exactly.
Why do we forget about Reuben Foster? Because you get Fred Warner in there.
But that's what I'm
if
saying.
Fred
You've
Warner comes in his
offset it
first
with some of
game
your other
and he's
drafts.
wearing the green dot helmet and he's calling the defense in his first game against Minnesota. So
It's
you forget
not
about
ideal.
that
And,
stuff. No.
and I know they get a lot of credit, and they should, for what they've done 5th round and later. But in one draft, think about the extensions we're talking about right now. In one draft, in the first 40 picks to get Nick Bosa and Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
Huge.
Come
The
on.
only draft
Drake
that-
Greenlaw in the same draft.
Come
And
on.
The only
on.
draft that comes close is Willis and Staley. In 07, they got him in both in the first
right.
round. And Willis retired early. So, you would have had an even more fruitful
Although
draft.
Ayupati and Anthony Davis is a good draft.
It was a
they were
great
solid
draft.
too.
Yeah.
That was a nice little
There's
draft.
been some great ones.
Dante
Those-
Pettis in the second round is
Yeah.
a miss.
Hey, now.
I'm just looking at it
Yeah.
right now. And,
Yeah.
Contavious Street turned out,
That's what I'm
fourth
saying.
round. Mike
Right.
McGlinchey is the one that's
Beathard.
interesting.
DJ Jones was a good pick before he moved
Yeah,
to
Really
the
good.
rounder, great
Really
pick.
good.
Yeah.
That was a great pick.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, front offices, with all the teams here in the Bay Area, who are you most comfortable with?
At the Warriors.
Yeah.
And it's not close.
I am with you.
It's not close.
Well, it's close.
It's really not close. When you
Really?
think, Kevin Durant wanted out, and
Right.
yet he begat Andrew Wiggins, and you won another championship. It's really not close when you think about it.
So
Jordan
this,
Poole.
but the 49er front office, after everything we just said, is not close
No.
in terms of your trust.
I don't
Which,
think
by
so.
the way, I'd also argue a football front office got a hell of a lot more to do than an NBA front office.
Well, you have
If you're-
more room for error, certainly,
Yep.
when you've got
Yes,
9 picks
that
and
is
you only
true,
have to hit on
Dibs.
3.
Yeah.
The Warriors were able to take a guy who wanted out. He wanted out desperately. You turned him into a player who turned into another player who was almost a Finals MVP, and you got the future maybe of your franchise in Jonathan Kuminga.
But
to me, it's
Jordan
not
Poole,
close.
late
But
first
if
round
you're,
pick.
but, and
Oh,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm not.
Looney.
I think I'll agree with the premise. What I disagree with is the idea that it's not close.
I
'Cause
think
if
it's
you're-
close.
If you're in the NBA and you do hit 1 or 2 times, like the Warriors did Steph and Clay.
Yeah.
Now
Well, that was
you're
before this
but
front
if-
office.
Granted,
So I wouldn't-
granted,
I wouldn't
granted.
give them
Green's a
credit for
second
that.
round pick.
So in fact, that even furthers my point, which is what has this front office actually had to do? They've got a ton of wiggle room because their base the whole time has already been set.
Would you agree here, though?
So they've only had to sort of
I
accentuate.
disagree with you.
But
they've done a
To me,
great
it
job.
comes down for the 49ers. It comes down to number 5. If number 5
I'm with Dibs
is
there.
as
Well,
good
yeah,
a
I'm with you
player as
there.
they think that he is,
But-
then it's close.
but
If
the whole
number 5
5-year
is
run
not
already.
as good,
But the whole 5,
what
6 year
5-year run for the 49ers?
Yeah, this front office.
Well,
All
the
they've
first-
done, is Jimmy Garoppolo was their big acquisition.
Well, their first
What?
draft, when you select Reuben Foster or Solomon Thomas in the first round, and I know how we feel about
It's a
Deshaun
miss.
Watson now.
Yeah,
he was sitting
huge
right
miss.
there for
Yeah,
you. That
huge
was a
miss.
huge miss, which almost
And
set this
Mahomes.
franchise
Yeah.
back. It almost set the franchise
Almost.
back.
Right.
Almost. They had to tread water and climb
the-
uphill.
but the premise of-
Warriors, you hit Steph, you hit Clay. Oh, and by the way, you hit Draymond Green in the second round.
They've
And
done
oh, by
great.
the way, Kevon Looney, late first round pick. They threw the bus label on him in year 2. Well, now look at him. He's a key cog where everybody was
I think
crying
basketball's
if
just
he would have
harder.
left. So
I think it's just harder in
it is-
basketball.
You do?
Because
See, I
the
think it's
salaries.
harder
If
in
you
football.
if you sign one guy, it is an anchor contract, right? In basketball, whereas in football, you can move off that guy
Okay.
almost
You
immediately.
miss in basketball,
I think
it
it's
destroys
so
you.
hard.
They had
but
10
I'm-
picks in 2017.
I'm going to disagree with you just solely based on hard cap, soft cap. That's
Well, their luxury cap situation allows them to be more flexible.
Thank you.
But I'm saying, you're asking
what do
me
you mean? The
conceptually
49ers
what's
have that
easier.
flexibility. This would be a
Well,
very different story.
agreed.
How do you think they do against Green Bay,
But there's
Wisconsin, if it's
non-guaranteed
soft cap?
contracts,
Right.
Which that's the other
Right.
factor of this. So
Yeah.
what I'm just saying, I don't mean the Warriors. I mean NBA in general. I find it to be much more difficult to assemble a roster because if you give a Gordon Hayward money, you're stuck with him, and you got to
Oh, yeah.
staple that
No,
guy to
you-
somebody, and you could miss. Warriors are very unique.
And the Warriors were
Look at
able to
Kemba
attract the
Walker.
number 1 free
Well,
agent
look at
maybe
Dan-
in the past 20
look at
years.
Dylan Brooks.
That free agency,
Yeah.
that front office was able to bring in
Yes.
Kevin Durant.
Because they already
So-
had a superstar.
And
That's
that's
my
true.
But
point.
they
Yes,
get
They
the
already
credit.
have
They
how-
still don't. You
and-
can't
and-
discredit them for bringing
I'm
in
not.
Kevin Durant.
I already agreed
That's
with
why
you
it's
that
not
they are
close.
number 1, but it's
not
completely
close.
close.
It's
I
really
think we
not
all
close.
agree
Yeah.
before we leave out. The Giants are not that top
Giants
2.
didn't come up.
didn't get
Giants didn't come
No.
up.
Jock
Farhad
Farhad.
Zaidi,
hey.
you have work to do, my
Hey,
friend.
hey, if
no
we
doubt.
had this conversation 12 months ago, they would have.
No, I was still
They
number. I was
would've.
still
I
on
think they'd
them.
be in
They
the
would've
mix.
come
They'd
up.
be in the mix, but
They
I
would've
was
come
still
up.
out. They were still number 3. Still number 3.
Yeah.
Still number 3.
You're right.
You guys have a great
That's
show.
not true. You would have gotten Garoppolo in that conversation, gotten all upset.